Guess I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way, I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. So tell your good lies. So fight no matter what. That's killed it.
He made the decision to play Thiago. But Klopp doesn't change the system since Buvak left. He don't want to change from the 4-3-3.
Boom, what's going on, people? We're back again on the Jerry James Show. We love the controversy. We love talking the topics that man can't think about, that man, you know what I mean? They're not that way inclined, G. They're not that way inclined. But look, we're going to bring it to you. And you know the way we bring it? We always bring it properly. We bring it with stats. We bring it with facts. That's how we move. Big up to everyone inside in the building already. We've got about 25 people. Make sure we're smashing the like. We should be on about 25 likes. Easy. If you're 27, because just me and G in there as well. So do you know what I mean? And we like the video. So minimum should be 27. We got 29 in the building. I expect 29.
minimum.
Exactly. But big up to everyone in the building. Just going to check out the people already been tuning in. We got Trudon saying glasses Klopp versus is better than laser eye surgery Klopp. Look, we're going to get into this. We've got Statman Stubb saying big up, mate. Keep smashing the content. Big up to yourself. We got Ish, the CEO of the Equalizer Captions, saying smash the like on arrival. I mean, if he's saying it, I don't know why you guys aren't. We got Pondo saying big up, guys. We got Pyrex in the building saying big up, Jerry, mate. In my opinion, being Klopp out is wrong in behaviour and fueling LFC hate and feeding in the narrative of the brown envelopes. The players are playing crap. Come on, the players are playing crap. First of all,
You've been on Chelsea streams too much, man.
yeah. First of all, I'm just letting people know this isn't a Klopp anti-Klopp agenda. It isn't. When you think about it, I don't think it is. It's a pro LFC agenda. That's what it is. So
guys, you already know, man. Come on, man. We're all we do is we give you guys the uncomfortable conversations, man. And if we bring the facts to the uncomfortable conversations and you don't like it, it's probably because it's true, you know. But yeah, you guys, you form your own opinions, man. Form your own opinion. We love all opinions anyway, regardless.
Exactly. We got Revenant in the building, loving the music. We got LFC Aaron saying smooth. We got Vincent Vega saying Jerry, he's dancing. There we go. We got Kalonji LFC big up saying Jerry. What's up? I'm not gonna say that word. What's up, my bro? But bro, you a lover, man. Them soft tunes though. Do you know what it is? We need to get you into the right frame of mind. I think in life you've got to be someone that can do both. You've got to be multi-layered. Of course, I could drop the little drill thing and I could just, you know what I mean? We could come in all harsh, but then we wouldn't have Vincent Vega and Revenite vibing. Do you know what I mean? And we're on vibes. We're on vibes. So
and we don't want the narrative to be different. Yeah, I mean, we don't want the narrative to be different.
Exactly. We got Vincent Vega saying G in the building. We got Anthony N saying yeah in the Ice Cube voice. Big up. But we got the dugout football channel. Big up to the dugout. We're doing well. Mr. Brooks saying come with the facts, Jerry and G. Peace. Big up. Yeah. We got LFC Aaron in the building saying Jerry. Listen, people. We're in the building. We got 40 people now. We got Darren R. We got Wayne. I mean, people are coming. So look, we might as well start off, man. Make sure we're liking the video, people, constantly. You know how how we run the thing. If we ain't getting the likes, the content just pauses and we go back onto vibes. And so Kalonji, I'm tracking this at you. You weren't feeling the smooth tune. That's cool. You're responsible now of making sure that we're on target with our likes. So when I set a target, if we're not hitting target, everyone in the channel, everyone in the chat, you know who to blame. It's Kalonji. But look, G, man, a lot of talk about, you know, the man in the thumbnail, the man behind us, Klopp. we obviously did a debate, real interesting debate, Klopp in versus Klopp out earlier, last week or so. Done really well, got a lot of controversy, but people aren't trying to hear it. But look, it is what it is. It is what it is. As we said, we're coming.
You know, we love controversy around it. Come on, man.
Yeah,
You know we love that shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. That's what it is. But look, Man or miracle worker, Klopp overrated. Now look, even for the biggest Klopp outer, saying that Klopp is overrated, that's mad. That's a mad statement to make. What's even worse is saying that, you know what? Klopp's a money man. He's a checkbook manager. He's just like
splashing that cash, baby.
Yeah, he's just like Pep. And a lot of the people in the chat are probably like, what the F are these guys talking about, bro? These guys have lost the plot. Like, these guys have lost the plot. Like, we're talking about FSG, and we're trying to get FSG out. But these men are blaming Klopp when it comes to the money part of stuff. But chat to me, man. Just before we get into what we're going to talk about, just give us a premise of Klopp, money man, miracle worker. Like, lay the foundations out before we obviously get into it, and then I'm going to obviously start some of the comments as well, because I know some people are confused in the building right now.
Now, guys, come on, look. You know me and Jerry. Look, we're deep thinkers at the end of the day, you know, but we're deep Liverpool thinkers. So we like to look at everything, you know, win, lose, draw, whatever. At the end of the day, people call us negative, but win, lose, or draw, we're still here every game, after every match, talking about the game, talking about the team, how we feel we can improve and stuff like that. And I think with everything that's going on with Klopp, if you guys obviously have watched Jerry for a long time now, seen him over at Coppish on the terrace, Jerry's been talking a lot for a long time on these channels about, you know, Liverpool and Klopp and just, you know, how things are going, how he sees things and stuff like that. Obviously, I haven't been going as long as Jerry, but, you know, these are things that I've also thought as well and agreed with Jerry. And we, you know, the last like 24 hours, we were looking at Klopp and, you know, just we need to look a bit deeper. Do you know what I mean? Because the reality is, you know, things just ain't right. And at the end of the day, we want to know why it's not right. So we thought, you know what, let's take a deeper look into Klopp's time here, you know, measure it to everyone else, compare it to, you know, his peers and things like that. And, you know, there's a lot of things that don't really add up. And obviously we'll get into that in a minute in today's stream and today's live. But yeah, there's just a lot of things that don't really add up, man, with Klopp and stuff like that. And again, by the way, this isn't about like trying to say, yeah, Klopp needs to leave or Klopp needs to stay or none of that stuff. This is just to show you guys, because we feel that at the end of the day, a lot of you, obviously, you know, Pirates, you know, you mentioned it there about, you know, feeding into the narrative and things like that. You know, it's not about feeding into, you know, the narrative at the end of the day. It's all about, you know, using your own two eyes to see, you know, what's really there. And when we're winning, no one has nothing to say. You know, no one has anything to say. When we was winning Champions League or, you know, winning the Premier League, you know, we had a good 2 years. And I think that 2 years is overshadowed quite a lot of what's really going on, you know, at Liverpool. And again, by the way, we're not saying it's just a Klopp thing. We deal with Klopp on the football pitch because that's all we really know, or that's all we really can understand. Me and Jerry don't really have the background to talk about the board and FSG and stuff like that to my knowledge. So we can't sit here and rap to you guys and say, FSG, this, that, and the other. Yes, I want new owners. Yes, I would love to have a Roman Abramovich or a Todd Bowley or even Arsenal's, you know, owner who's out here. We would love that. Come on, guys. We're not naive. We're not stupid. But we can only focus on the football pitch and what we see on the football pitch as two guys who play football and have played football, you know, at good levels. We feel like we can understand that. And today we're going to get into it, man. We're going to get into it.
Yeah, man. I think before we kind of, you know, get into the whole, the main part of the thing, I think it's important to break down kind of debate some of the smaller topics surrounding Klopp. So look, one of the topics is obviously Klopp obviously being an elite manager. Look, I believe he is. I'll put that out there straight away. I think G believes he is as well, no doubt. But his record in finals isn't great. His record in finals isn't great. And when we talk about top managers, that does come into question. We spoke about, you know, if we had a Rafa Benitez, if we had Ancelotti, if we had a Mourinho in the final, for instance, against Real Madrid, we win that final.
Mm.
We win that final. It's mad to say, we probably don't get to that position, but certain games where you need to go and win the league, and we're kind of, do you know what I mean? We're 1 point off winning the league, or 2 points off winning the league, or whatever it is. We don't get that win. We don't get that draw. We drop those key crucial points. Now, yeah, of course, some of the blame goes on the players. That man can't control anything. But when everything's going well, Klopp's getting all the praise. All the praise.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? All the praise. So when stuff doesn't really, like, do you know what I mean, go as planned, and we falter at the last hurdle, would you say that discredits Klopp in some way? And I want people in the chat to think about that as well. Does that discredit Klopp not being able to go and not looking at this Liverpool team and thinking, you know what, we don't have even, I don't know, 2 more Carabao Cups and 2 more FA Cups? Because that portfolio of trophies for me looks much healthier. It looks much healthier than when you're looking at, you know, 1 league, 1 Premier League, 1 Carabao Cup. And I'm talking domestic trophies, people.
I think
because it don't look great. It don't look great, but you start to bulk up the key trophy, the 2 main trophies alongside a little FA Cup, a little Carabao Cup here and there. And you pick up, when you look at Pep now, Pep's won a lot of Premier Leagues. He ain't won the Champions League, but guess what? When you look at how many Carabao Cups and FA Cups he's won alongside with it, it starts to make that, do you know what I mean, that trophy cabinet look a bit more fuller, man.
I think it's also a better representation. Like we're not silly. Like at the end of the day, we've had a good team. You know, we had a good team. You know, especially that 2-year period. You know, we had a team that, you know, I felt that should have been doing a lot better overall. But inevitably, it goes back to the manager. You know, you can blame players, of course you can. You know, if players are playing, you know, poorly, out of form, that's on the players, 100%. And we all see that with certain players that are in the current team, but. You know, at the end of the day, you know, it's the manager who gets to the, you know, when, as Jerry said, when we're doing well, Klopp's this, he's amazing, he's elite, he's the best, one of the best managers, if not the best manager, and this, that, and everything. And you hear about the players, we don't hear about them too much. When we're losing, it seems to be everyone but Klopp, and I think that's what's me personally. That's what's irked me the most, you know, during, you know, this season, is that when we were doing well, it was all about Klopp. Now we're not doing so well. It's nothing to do with Klopp. It's everyone else but him. And it's only maybe in the recent weeks that people have maybe started to come out and say, maybe you thought it. I'm not saying nobody sat there and thought Klopp or whatever. Of course not. But no one was really brave enough. And I think over here at this channel, we want to, like, the first few people really to question that, you know, in regards to Klopp and things like that. And, you know, of course, you know, we get a lot of negative opinions and, you know, negative feedback in regards to that. But, you know, it's just opinions. At the end of the day, I'll be real with you. I'm not correct. Jerry's not correct. Everyone in the comment, when none of us are correct. We're just forming our own opinions. The only people who can be deemed correct is Klopp and the manager, the management team, the owners. They're the only ones who can be deemed incorrect or, you know, correct. So it's just about opinions, man. Football is all about opinions, man. But you know me, I'm like the naughty kid in school, man. I love the controversy. So guys, please keep it coming, man. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, there we go, man. We got obviously Pirates King saying, Jerry, be careful what you wish for. I wish for success. Like,
You know what I mean?
I don't know. Like, for me, success is not debatable. It's not debatable for me. It's you're successful or you're not. There isn't a middle ground. Like, it's like you either win or you don't. I wouldn't be happy if someone if I kept moving to Tings and Tings were telling me, yeah, you know what, you're my second choice though. Like, of all the man them that moved to me on the day, you're my second choice, but I've got this bread on the side though. Like, he's number 1, but you're my second choice, and it's so close. It's so close, but he's just that foot taller than you. Like, dead. I'm not having that. Unfortunately. So if that's what you're saying, if you're telling me that, you know, I should be careful what I wish for, then fair enough, because that's what I'm saying, and that's where my Klopp out stems from. It's not Klopp out regardless of anything that happens. And I've said it before. If Klopp was to come out and say, you know what, I'm going to a back 3. We're going to go do this, that. It works and he sticks with it. Like how the 4-4-2 started to kind of work, whether it was a tactical change or whether the players just had a refresher and kind of had a boosted morale because of obviously playing in a different system or in a different kind of formation. He's gone back to now the 4-3-3. So he's gone away from what was actually working prior to the World Cup, which got us into the position where we could actually be like, you know what? We win our next 2 games after the World Cup and top 4 could be on the cards, you know? That's what we were out here and saying that. We were out here and saying that. So, it's one of those ones for me, man. But yeah, I think you know what? I think it's time. Like, I'm going to read through some of the comments, but I think it's time to start kind of. I mean, I'll let you go and kind of segue us into that, and then I'll bring up the first couple players, innit? Because this will be interesting. Oh, I let it slip players, but Oscar, big up to Oscar saying, Jerry, I saw the signals of Liverpool becoming shit again under Klopp, even in 1920 season. Believe it or not, I saw his stubbornness and lack of ideas for the team even back then. So did I. If no one believes me, go check the tapes at Coppish. Go when we won the league. Go and say what I was saying.
And then the reason why, I just wanted to add to that is the only reason why I mentioned that, and thank you, Oscar, as well for that comment, is just purely because we don't need to think this is all reactionary. Do you get what I mean? Of course, Liverpool are playing poorly, so we're going to have, everything that we've been thinking and saying and stuff like that. We're going to, be able to do more videos and stuff like that, of course. But the reality is just the sheer fact that these are all things that have all been said before. It's just now coming to fruition now, if I'm being totally honest, man.
Yeah. Big up to Effortless
Stats.
Big up to Effortless Stats. Saying locked in, boys. Sorry for being late, but I'm here for the hot takes. Yeah, the hot takes are there.
By the way, we appreciate everything. By the way, in terms of the stats and stuff, we appreciate that as well, man. Thank you.
Yeah, 100%. Scrap saying for the people saying it's the players that aren't playing well, it's because they're playing in a system that isn't working. Of course, they won't play well. It's a fair point. We got Sui Jr. saying, let's not forget that this fan base did not want Rodgers to leave. Facts.
It's funny.
Facts. It's funny because you were saying the same thing when Rodgers when Carragher did this. When you sitting there and Henry touched Carragher's hand,
I was baffed too. I was like, huh? Rodgers leaving?
It was crazy. Mo Khalif saying, "What's up, Jerry? Klopp makes no sense." LFC Aaron saying, "Look, going back to 4-3-3 was silly and stupid." Yeah, it was. Aaron saying, "Arteta got time. Give Klopp time after Mane ethic."
I'll say to that is that Klopp's been here for 7 years. Arteta had been there for what, 2, 3, maybe? I don't know if this is his third, fourth season.
Yeah, 3.
Context,
because he came in after Emery, innit? Like in that
after Emery. So yeah, we got to think and look at context, guys. We weren't Arsenal. This is Liverpool, who's supposed to be elite. Arsenal were not elite and haven't been for about 18 years or so. So context, man, context.
Pyrex saying, Jerry, mate, come on now. You being wishy-wishy, mate. Trying to be a brown envelope. Is it Klopp's fault Salah VVD Fabinho have been dead food?
Hey, Jerry, but why you being wishy-wishy, bro?
Hold on, who's persistent with the players? Who's persistent with the system? Forget the transfers. Forget FSG. Who's training the players? Who's overworking the players? Whose system overworks the players? Whose system can't break down low blocks? Is it Linda's now? Is it all on Linda's? Let me know. Please, let me know. But come on, man. Yeah, cool. Make sure we're still smashing the like. G, take it away. Stop being wishy-washy, though.
Hey, stop being wishy-washy, bro. What's wrong with you? Nah, obviously, look. So we looked at, Klopp's, well, I say Klopp, but we looked at the players that, big money signings. I think we got Naby Keita, and a couple others, where we just looked at their performances prior to joining Liverpool. So obviously the reason why, Liverpool actually went in for these guys. And I think one of the things that me and Jerry were speaking about quite a lot intensively over the last couple of days was, is it a case of, and this is a question for everyone in the chat as well, is it a case of, do you guys feel, and again, opinion, that Klopp has really improved these players? Or is it more of a case where, would I say, a lot of these players were already on this upward trajectory? Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that, of course, Klopp he got blood out of stone with some of these players. Some of them were absolutely crap, in my personal opinion. But obviously, Klopp was able to get something out of a lot of these players. But is it a case of he's improved a lot of these players, or were they already there? And he's very good at putting a team together to be able to perform. So yeah, I think that's something
But
that we
G,
wanted to just kind of delve into.
that's a bit mad that you're saying that. Yeah, I'm speaking
Mm,
devil's advocate.
mhm,
Obviously, a lot of the people in the chat are going to be like, "What are you talking about?" Klopp,
mm,
he's taken. Do you know what I mean, Mane wasn't a world class player before he came in. Genie
mhm,
wasn't a world class player before he came in. That only happened at Liverpool. Klopp's
mhm,
the one that took them to that level.
mm,
Klopp's the one that makes these players better.
mm.
What would you say? What would you say to that, man? Because a lot of the times, as you said, it's getting water at a stone and getting blood at a stone and stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's turning water into wine, essentially. But is that actually the case? Is that actually the case, or are there other kind of reasons as to why these players are actually performing to to the level that they actually do?
Again, listen, it's all opinions, but I think what I will say is you notice it quite a lot with a lot of our team is that when they're obviously Jurgen Klopp was very good at getting a system together that worked for for the team. To be honest with you, but you notice it quite a lot when a lot of these guys go away to the international squads. That's where I really noticed it. To be honest with you, when they go there, it's like a fish out of water. They just don't fit. They don't look that good. Or they perform completely differently than what to how they perform. Now, of course, some players different positions and things like that for their national teams than they would do for Liverpool. But I noticed, watching some of these players, like your Van Dijks and things like that. I'm watching them, and I used to always sit there and think, I'm sorry, hindsight's a wonderful thing. Me and Jerry have obviously agreed on this before. There was no way that I looked at Van Dijk and thought, yeah, that's the centre back that we really need, and that's the centre back that's going to get us to X, Y, and Z position. Would I think he was better than what we had? Yeah, but I probably was looking more at Lovren during his time at Southampton than I was, Van Dijk. I'll be totally honest. That's just my personal opinion. That wasn't a player. If I had to pick between the two, Lovren was always going to be the one. Lovren was the leader in the team. Lovren was performing a lot better, than Van Dijk. So when we did, go in for Van Dijk, and especially at that price, I thought to myself, bloody hell, that's a lot to spend on a guy who I'm not really thinking and rating, at that high level. But again, he came into a system, and Lovren also came into this system. And it's funny. I feel that Lovren performed better than Van Dijk, at Southampton. But look who's performed better at Liverpool. The fortunes obviously changed. Van Dijk obviously went on to become one of the best centre backs in the world, if not Premier League that we've ever seen, arguably. And Lovren is now God knows where. I don't know where he is. At this current moment in time, we had to get rid of him because he was just getting mistake after mistake. Now, is that to do with the system? Is that the system that we play at Liverpool in comparison to the system that he was playing at Southampton? And I think we can go through quite a lot of players. Mo Salah. Mo Salah was not a player again. Klopp didn't even want him. We these are things that we forget. Klopp didn't even want the guy. He wanted Julian Brandt and Goetze. Didn't even want him. So he wasn't a player that I feel that we valued, when we first signed him. He's at Lyon. Thank you. And he's come in, and again, within this system, look at the player that we've got today. So is it a case of, being able to be in this system, being allowed to, would I say, utilize the attributes that some of these players have, and being able to put everybody together? Again, context, people. We were able to put a lot of these players together in a team, and that's where you saw the team then starting to perform to a certain level and things like that. It wasn't a case of, he had Mo Salah for X amount of time, and then all of a sudden Mo Salah became this great. Mo Salah was more or less the second he came in, boom, around Firmino, around Mane, because they were able to understand each other's game. And Mane, the same thing. He's another player. At Southampton, I thought like Mane was pretty good. He was on the radar. I think he was going to go to Manchester United at one point.
Yeah. Mm.
Before he even joined Liverpool. And again, were these players that we were all looking at and thinking, yes, blah, 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 this must be the guy that we've got to sign and everything? Or did they come into a system that worked perfectly, by the way? And I'm not dissing what worked for them in that system. But when you look deeper at some of the stats and things like that, how much did Klopp really improve these players, or were they already on that upward trajectory? And I think that's just what we today anyway we want to look
and I
at.
think the question is, and this is what I want people to think about. 'Cause I see a lot of people in the comments just lost. They're thinking, what the hell are you talking about? Klopp, he's done this, he's done that. Mo's a star, Gini's a star. Yes, they are. But is it all down to Klopp?
Mm.
Or did Klopp? Is Klopp working with a budget that, I don't know, Jones is working at Southampton, or someone like, or Steve Bruce or Benitez was working with? When you're talking about real Damari Gray turning water into wine, do you know what I mean? Like, you go to Everton and you're just, this is what you get in it. 300 bags, 750 bags, make that work. Or are we actually spending more than we actually realize? Not necessarily as much as a City and stuff like that, but we're spending more than we realize. And it's actually not Klopp, but it's the systems in which Klopp has worked in that has actually enabled him to become the man he is. So look at Dortmund, for example, people. Of course, when Klopp was there, Lewandowski, Royce, Gundogan, Kagawa, Błaszczykowski, Piszczek. I can go through I can go through plenty of players that Klopp's gone and he was part of a team that have ever elevated. Goetze, plenty. You look after Klopp has left. Would we still consider Borussia Dortmund to have one of the best scouting departments in the world, if not the best, in terms of young talent? Haaland, Sancho, Dembele,
Bellingham, if you want to put
Bellingham, Bender, Aubameyang, that popped off really under
I think it was Tuchel.
Under Tuchel,
yeah,
popped off under Tuchel. Who else? Who else can we chuck in that mix?
They've got obviously Giorgio Reyna. He's a bit of a hit and miss, but he's a very good young talent.
But that's my point. They've still been able to go and produce a lot of players that have been able to go and actually come through. Sven Bender. Plenty of players that they've been able to go and kind of and take to that next level. So when you look at the scouting departments, Pulisic, Jesus.
Pulisic, yeah, you know, I actually completely forgot him as well.
Pulisic, like, we're talking about a system, a scouting network that is so good. As well. We're talking about a scouting network that's so advanced that the types of players they're able to go and bring to the table is ridiculous. And obviously, yes, LFC Aaron actually asked, what has Borussia Dortmund won since Klopp left? They might not have won since Klopp left. And that's why I go back. I'm not saying Klopp's not a great manager. I'm not saying Klopp's not a great motivator. I'm not saying Klopp he's not the 1 or 2 or 3% that takes them over the line. But the talent that we're talking about is incredible. You look at Liverpool now, people. Now, since Klopp's come in, Salah, yes, on the trajectory and stuff, but he wasn't developed by Klopp. He was signed by Klopp. Boom. First season, bang, pops off. Van Dijk, first game, goal against Everton, pops off. Mane, first game against Arsenal, pops off.
Forgot about that goal. I like that goal.
Exactly. We're talking about so many players that Klopp has been able to sign. But when we talk about Klopp, we talk about Klopp working within a system. Klopp's not responsible for the transfers. He's not responsible for any of that. He's the coach. That's what we've been told. And if that's the case, then people, the system's got to get a lot of props, especially the scouting department, to find the likes of Gini Wijnaldum, to find the likes of Robertson, to find the likes of Nunes if people think Nunes is going to go and kind of pop off. This is what it is. This is what it is.
And no, go on.
No, go on.
No, I was going to say, and again, you know, you're seeing it more and more in would I say that the profile of players? I think that for me is the key as well. And every manager.
Julian Brandt.
Oh, Julian Brandt. Yeah, I forgot about him. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, the profile. Yeah, like, you know, Now, and by the way, this is for every manager, because every manager is going to have a specific profile that they would I say, be able to use to their best of their abilities. But a lot of managers are able to work with kind of like a mixed variety. I wouldn't call Klopp one of those managers who works with a mixed variety of profiles. I feel like he's got his age profile, 24 and between 24 and maybe like 28. I'd say in that kind of 4-year period, I think that's where Klopp, really excels. But then we look at, the young players. I mean, I'm sure everyone could probably name Goetze, Trent, if you want. I stop there. It's really not. It's really not a crazy list. And obviously, the title of the video is "Money Man or Miracle Maker," or Miracle Worker. Sorry. If we did not have the money offset from Coutinho, of course, he wouldn't have had this money, to be able to go out and splash this cash on, all of these players. Would we be sitting here with any titles? Is Klopp just not like any other manager that we all diss, by the way? Now, we diss them because, Pep Guardiola, Jose Mourinho, Carlo Ancelotti, Zidane, Tuchel, all of these guys are able to spend vast amounts of money. But Klopp does the same thing. Like I said, 75 million on a centre back. Now in today's market, 75 million, I think, is just under 90 million pounds.
With inflation,
yeah, of course. Yeah, sorry. So since the day we
75 million in today's market would equate to about 90 million.
Yeah, if you take in the inflation of obviously what it is. Keita, 50 million. Today's market, that would be about 60. I think I got it at about 62 million, 61 million. Mo Salah, who again I don't think was at the top of many people's wish list. You're signing a guy who's I almost call him almost like the version of Gakpo, where they had a really good 18 months, and they're showing the world what they can do. He failed in here the first time, maybe didn't get a fair crack at the whip, but he's gone away to Italy and really done his thing. Now he's come back to the Premier League. Now he's on the upward trajectory, and I think that what Jerry was mentioning before about the system. Again, maybe we do need to give that system a lot more props. And maybe this is the reason why we're seeing Klopp, who can only work within a certain system, a certain frame, with a certain profile of player. If that's not there, do we trust him to be able to go out there? We're not signing guys for, bar Robbo, I think we got for chicken like 8 million, I think it was. We're not going out there getting £5 million signings. 2 million. Minamino. I mean, yeah.
But you know how that story ended up. But
exactly.
That's what we're saying. The types of players we're not going and finding. We're not doing Dortmund deals where Dortmund are signing players for 12 million, 10 million, and selling them on. Do you know what I mean? We're buying players, as you said, a Gakpo who's had a great 18 months, very very good deal, coming in at the level of what Salah was when he was at Roma. I'm pretty sure effortless. If you could, try and find the stats for us. Gakpo's last 18 months with Salah's so Gakpo's recent 18 months to Salah's 18 months prior to moving to Liverpool. So we've got the stats there. It's even the last season. I want to go and see Gakpo's stats because I'm pretty sure Gakpo's is actually better.
Probably is. Now, we're not saying, by the way, that Gakpo's going to end up like Salah, by the way, guys. But, you never know. You never know. He's on that upward trajectory regardless. So as long as he's put into the right system, things work out.
And the question is, and we're gonna get the stats up now, but I asked this to everyone in the chat as well to actually think about it, not just be reactionary with your response because you're so anti what we're saying, which is fair. You can be anti what we're saying, but just don't be reactionary. Does this system enable the players to play in their best role? So my question is, if Gini Wijnaldum, great example, left Liverpool and it hasn't really worked out. Goetze left Borussia Dortmund, didn't really work out. Matt Hummels left Borussia Dortmund, it didn't really work out. Aubameyang left Dortmund, didn't really work out. Now, yes, you've got the examples of Lewandowski and even a Salah that I assume, Salah will probably do well somewhere. But that's the question. We beg Bobby Firmino. If Bobby Firmino goes anywhere else, do you think he does as well as as he is.
Very true.
1 second, because and Sean Doc, big up to yourself, but he's saying this Klopp hating is not good, guys. What I would suggest is listen to the actual conversation that we're having, because it's not Klopp hate. It's a question about whether he's a money man or miracle worker. So is the perception of Klopp skewed? We have not criticized Klopp's world-class abilities. We're not saying he's not one of the best managers in the world. No, not at all. Not at all. But this is what I'm saying with people, and this is a great example of it. When you're having your opinion and you've got a strong opinion, don't be reactionary. Don't be reactionary with what we're saying. Take in what we're saying, because you're not hearing what we're saying. We're saying that the system that's provided, so as G said, the fact that players are, 24 up to 28, he can motivate those types of players because they want to get to the next level. The fact there's not a pressure to go and buy a £90 million signing, and he has to work right there. And he has to work instantly. Put it this way, if Nunes, I throw this at people, if Nunes was 25 million and was doing what he's doing, he'd be one of the signings of the season. I'm telling you now. Klopp could easily go and use the narrative of, use the narratives of, this player, he's only developing, he's from Benfica, it was his first season. You can use the comparisons of Lewandowski and all of that. Because, guys, guess how much Lewandowski cost people? We compared the two. Guess how much Lewandowski cost?
How much it cost?
5. From Lech Poznan. I'm pretty sure. And this is what I'm saying, is that we've now got, we're trying to compare two players. We're trying to compare two players that went and they're at similar stages of their career, but one's costing way, way less. So the pressure's way less, not only on the player, but on the manager for it to work. The Virgil one worked a treat because it came off the bat straight away.
You see, the Virgil one that's always a funny one, man. And listen, the Virgil is fantastic. Like I said, arguably one of the best centre backs that we put him up there. Liverpool fans do anyway, but I think in terms of his abilities, you put him up there with like your Rios and your Vidiches and Terrys and Carvalhos and people like this. In terms of ability, in terms of his career, no, but in ability wise, yes, you put him up there. But it's funny because when I look at that, I think there's always the right time to do things, man. There's always the right time to do things. And I think when you've got a signing like that, who's a somewhat good defender at that time anyway, obviously went on to be a very, very world-class defender. When you've got someone like that who comes into a team whose all of their defense is absolutely crap, is that because of the system? Is it because Van Dijk came in all of a sudden and that was it? We just immediately turned into this amazingly defensive team? There's a lot of questions about that, because I feel that the team started to change the way it played once we did have a Van Dijk, and then obviously we got in Alisson, and then obviously we still had Robbo, Trent. I think the system started to change quite a lot to fit all of these players so that they could all perform to the abilities that we saw of them, especially 2018 to 2020. Like, it's one of those kind of things where you've got to look at things in context, and hence the reason why, and this is for you, Sean. This is why we're saying it's not about Klopp hate or anything like that. Of course not. We still think he's he's still one of the best managers out there.
We've even said openly, we believe if Klopp moved to another club, he'd probably be very successful. He'd be a successful coach there as well. It's not about the fact that Klopp's done. Klopp hasn't got the minerals to be a manager. He's on a decline. It's not about that. It's the shelf life that his style of management has.
Exactly.
That's the question that we're asking. That's what we're asking.
Literally that, man. Yeah, you summed up there, to be honest. Yeah. I think that's what it is. Just about that.
But big up to everyone. As LFC Aaron's saying, make sure we're leaving a like on the stream, people, because we need as many people to go and see this, as many people to get triggered so they actually understand what we're actually going to say, because that's how we can actually have open conversations and dialogues. Like, the amount of madness that me and G get for this kind of opinion is crazy. If we went and showed you our DMs, it's crazy.
We don't even want to see my DMs.
Because a lot of you guys, Angel 1968 as an example, didn't necessarily agree with us. But once they hear what we have to say, it's like, you know what? I don't fully agree, but I agree with parts. Do you know what I mean? Mo Fawaz was grilling me on Hussam show, but he's actually come on board because he wants to go in here double sided, and that's why I respect someone like Mo Fawaz. Big up to yourself. But
And again, and by the way, guys, it's not even just before Jerry continues. It's not even about like we don't care. Not that we don't care, but we don't in terms of anyone agreeing. It's not about agreeing. It's about understanding someone else's point of view because we all understand everyone's point of view. You love Liverpool, you love Klopp, you think he's done great, perfect. And then obviously some people have got their some form of stats or evidence to kind of back that up. But there's always going to be another side to things because the reality is, if we're talking about a team who was consistently winning, then of course that this will be a different story. You know, this will be a different conversation. Heck, we wouldn't even be having this conversation because Klopp will be doing his job. But unfortunately, he's not, and he hasn't been doing so since we won the Premier League. I mean, I don't let last season cloud any of my judgment towards Jurgen Klopp. You could see a lot of cracks in the team, regardless of where we were finishing. And yet again, it was almost like the 1920 season where when everything can go perfect for you, it did. And when it does go perfect for you, you look amazing. But the second there's cracks, like I keep saying, that's where I'm judging you. And that is where you make your money as a manager. And that is where you show people that you are the manager that, you know, they say you are. And I refer it back to managers like Sir Alex, obviously being the main one, but he's the one I really look at that when things just weren't really going right, you know, when Arsenal were winning, you know, winning the leagues and Chelsea were starting to win the leagues. What did they do as managers in order to get their team back to the top? What was one of the things, you know, yes, money spent, of course, buy players and this, that, and the other. So then buy the players, you know, go out there and do that. And I think that if it was just as simple as that, then I think anybody would just be able to come in, spend money and then go. It's not just that simple. There's obviously going to be other caveats to that in terms of the management, in terms of players. You know, we're talking about a manager, and this is why, again, I guess everyone in the UK and the world respects Sir Alex, is we're talking about a guy who got rid of but, you know, sold some of the class of 92. And the team just kept getting, it just seemed like he just kept getting better and better and better and better. And it was just ridiculous. You know, David Beckham, you know, all of a sudden you're getting in Ronaldo, a 17-year-old Ronaldo, or 18-year-old, however old he was at the time. And he goes on to be better than David Beckham could ever dream of being, you know, in his footballing career. You know, it's just these kind of things. And I think that's what it is in regards to Klopp and everything surrounding him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. And look, I've just had a glance at the likes, and I know my eyes are deceiving me. We've got 83 people in the building. We've got 51 likes.
People, you know what I want.
You know what I want. And guess what, G? Because I'm enjoying people actually enjoying the thing and they're in the chat, I'm going to give the people in the chat a bly. Guys, make sure we're smashing a like. We're going to go and get through the first player. If we and our first like bit of analysis. If after this we're still not level with our likes,
you know that they know the door. They know the door.
They know the door. I'm never going to say it. I'm just going to after I'm like, yeah, G. So I'm just going to play it. This is going to happen. But yeah, let's get into the first one, people. Alisson Becker. Liverpool's what? Greatest ever keeper. Ever keeper. I'd 100% put him there. Been a fantastic signing. Big money signing nonetheless. Broke the goalkeeper transfer record up until Kepa kind of broke it later on that transfer window. But it was a massive signing. I think that goes under the radar because of Kepa. I think if Alisson was that price, we'd be talking saying, look, we spent that money and look what we went and did. Big up to the... I mean, it's funny though, because we signed a player that I don't know about you, G. We didn't really I'll get the stats up, people, again, but we didn't really kind of look at Alisson and be like, yeah, Alisson's the keeper. Like for us, like in that Champions League run, he got spanked by us, and I was thinking this keeper's not great. Like Alisson, I mean, great. I was happy because we're getting a keeper and we're moving on from Karius. But it wasn't a thing where we signed Courtois and I was like, oh, okay,
yeah.
We signed Oblak and I was like, yeah, that's the name. I want that. We're strengthening the same way. You know, if we went and signed Mbappe now, we'd be like, oh, okay, cool. We're moving in the transfer market.
Nah, 100% agree, bro.
Wasn't that type of signing, was he?
Not at all, bro. Like we spoke about this before. Like, you know, even you know what? Let's take out that game, because that game in isolation, obviously, we completely packed them at Anfield. But I think that when I'm looking at when I'm looking at Alisson, and I even looked at like him in that season anyway. There was nothing really. I didn't really see what it was with him, and I'm sure we were in for another goalkeeper, and it was between him and Alisson, and I can't remember who the goalkeeper was, and he'll come back to me in a minute. But I remember sitting there thinking, yeah, I want that other goalkeeper. I don't really want Alisson. Like he doesn't fill me with that much confidence, if I'm being totally honest. But when you're playing in a team that's doing well, doing many things well, defending very, very well, you look so much better. Of course, like anybody, if you're playing well, the team's doing well, you're gonna look great. Of course you are. But it's again in the moments. And I think with Alisson, why Alisson's a good one is with Alisson, you're seeing him at the moment in time. The team is absolutely shit. And look who's shining. Look who is shining. It is only Alisson this season. He's the one who's pulling out save after save, and he is saving our bacon. Absolutely saving our bacon. If it wasn't for him, guaranteed Liverpool not in the top 10 this season. Guaranteed.
100%, man. Before we get in, big up to Marshall Ayub saying, Jerry, I got a baby on the way. I'm really happy. Can't wait to be a father. Big up to yourself.
Hey, everyone,
big up. Great news.
Big up in the chat, man.
Big up, Marshall, man. We're going to do it just for you. John, run the red.
The mountain days I pondered, I thought I lost meaning. We been never fold, had the devil fatiguing. Crew fired the ship in a drought, unlimited drops from the source past the ceiling. Yeah, turkey farming through bands like these singers. Bodies under the knife, but the soul be craving for the healing. Even though your new shape look appealing, my eyes glued to the sole of my feet. I can't stand what I see, I'm just trying to be hella lit when the Jaeger caressing my liver to block out the noise in between. I need the bird's eye view.
Come on. Yeah, big up. You're damn yourself, bro. Sleepless nights. Don't worry. We're coming. Sleepless nights.
Big up. But yeah, cool. We'll get back onto it. Let's just get out for you people. Yes, Alisson Becker. I'll run through the Serie A stats and G will run through the Premier League, and then G will chop it up for us. So obviously in Serie A, so this is the season before we signed Alisson, people. It's 37 games played. Saved 105 shots out of 135 like obviously shots on target. That's an 81.5% saved ratio with 17 clean sheets, 51.2% pass completion, and that's over 40 yards. And he passes over 40 yards, and he made 90 defensive actions outside the box. I mean, look, we didn't know about Alisson, but that's another indication of how important scouting networks have been for Klopp in his tenure, and that's another one of them, because looking at those stats, it's ridiculous.
I think again, these are all the type of stats that we're not obviously going to be necessarily privy to, unless you're obviously going to go in and do the research and things like that. But I guess that this is why you got to match the eye test with the statistics to see if it kind of backs that up. And clearly, what they saw on the field, the stats kind of back that up for them in terms of, I think they looked at that and thought, especially it was at 81% or something like that.
We'll get shot save. Yeah, we go. Yeah, 81.5%. Shots saved. I think then Liverpool are then looking at that and thinking, well, we're a team who consistently, seemingly, conceding chances. We need a goalkeeper who's going to be able to at least save more than the ones who have been previously hit. And that's not to, by the way, diss Karius, by the way, because Karius was pretty good up until that Champions League final. Karius was pretty decent. Like, he wasn't a keeper that I was too worried about, and I wasn't even worried about him in the final. It's just that final kind of, completely messed it up for him. But, Alisson, really, really good that season, and that 17-18 season in terms of across the board. So I can see why Liverpool then eventually decided to put the money up for him, man. But it's interesting, G. We're then obviously looking at the Premier League, and this is obviously 2021 season, the season we won the league, I assume. Is that correct?
No, we won in 1920.
1920. So this is 2021. So this is the season after.
The season after.
And we're looking at 34 out of 34 games played. 82 out of 115 shots saved. So it's gone down to 75.7%. Obviously, 10 clean sheets. Pass completion over 40 plus yards is 38.1%. So it's obviously a decrease from 50.2%. And he's made 87% defensive actions outside the box. So look, we can clearly see, obviously, Liverpool have seen the defensive action. So him being able to come off his line, clean and mop up any danger. But that's obviously, something they've looked at. But the pass completion, the amounts of clean sheets, the shots saved, it's all a decrease, isn't it?
Yeah, I think obviously that was the season. Then I think we had the centre back issue, but I'm not the clean sheets doesn't bother me because of that centre back issue, and obviously how Klopp kind of played that out. That clean sheets I'm not going to look at too much. For me, it's really the pass completion. That is what I really didn't like, because I do remember Alisson that season making quite a lot of mistakes in that season, and he was. Alisson's a great goalkeeper. He's a great goalkeeper. So we're not even going to try and do the, oh, he's rubbish. No. Alisson's a great goalkeeper, but he doesn't fill me with any level of real confidence when the ball is at his feet. I always feel that this guy is going to pull out a mistake from somewhere. Maybe because of his overconfidence. Maybe because he's I don't know. You trust in your abilities so much that it then becomes a thing of, yeah, you know what, I can do it. So I'm gonna, whatever it is. It does not fill me with confidence. And I think I remember speaking, and big up Youngin. I remember we did a video of him not too long ago, and he even mentioned it back then. And at the time I was thinking, nah, he's all right. Like, you know what I mean? He's calm, he's this, that, and the other. But that was something that he mentioned, and it's just kind of stuck with me. And to be honest, we've seen it ever since. Like, Alisson isn't someone that I'm going to say I'm that comfortable with the ball at his feet. Not to say he cannot pick out a pass, not to say he can't do certain things. But if I had to pick between him and Ederson with the ball at their feet, I'm going Ederson every single time. So then it just depends on what you then need from a goalkeeper. And I think if Pep Guardiola had a choice between Ederson and Alisson, he would always go Ederson regardless, because of what he requires from his goalkeepers.
Yeah, 100%. We're getting a mad report. There's a mad report right now. Breaking news, to be fair.
There's a collection, man, then. It's got this year's one. Got this one. Got the carnival one. Got last year's home one. The year before that. I think the year before that. The iconic old one. Man, let me know!
Let me know.
Romz in the building. We got Romz in the building. Big up. Romz has returned with a hiatus, man, doing an Ash, just disappearing on us.
Listen, first things first, I want to say, big up J&G, because the content you've put out the last week and a half has been amazing. Second to none. I know everyone appreciates it, but
come on,
work just had me in a headlock. But I'm back like another left. You'll see me every stream now. I'm back, man. But yeah,
the injuries are back. I'm like,
I was going to say, this Firmino that he's been doing recently, I don't know, man.
We maintained the challenge and we're here, innit? We're here, road to the 1K. Yeah. So big
quickly,
up to
just to touch on what G just said. I hear you, G, but I've noticed with Alisson, I feel like, have you noticed when he doesn't have time to think, he'll pull off that worldy assist, he'll pull off that little Cruyff turn that sends the player to the shop. But when he has time to think, that's when you're like, oh, you don't
so is he
here.
So is he the Nunes to like the goalkeeper?
I knew you could.
Is he the goalkeeper Nunes or what? Because obviously I'm giving him more credit than that. I feel like he's he's not even that level. But you're saying it sounds like he's like the Nunes but let me know.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But when we're looking at those stats, people, it's interesting because when we go to that season of Alisson's, that's, if I told you that these are the stats from this season, you'd agree with me. 70 clean sheets, 80%, over 80% shot save percentage, 37 out of 37 games played. That's in their league. So he plays every single game in the Premier League. This is a player that's already on that trajectory. So we speak about Klopp being able to go and turn water into wine, and we spent, yes, and we're not talking about FSG now, but we spent a lot of money on a keeper, regardless of how it came. And he's doing what a keeper of that amount should do, unlike a Kepa, unlike other keepers. So has Klopp really gone and improved the likes of an Alisson, or has Alisson just carried on being on a trajectory? and
This
and
is
and 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 the platform that Liverpool have been able to provide. So the types of players, the fact that we've got Klopp, the fact that the system's in there, the fact that all of this type of stuff has meant that he's been able to be much more consistent. Because I don't think Alisson's necessarily improved since he's been at Liverpool. He wasn't poor and then got better.
Mm.
Do you know,
He was
do you
good.
know, I think you're onto something, JJ, because I feel like I wouldn't say Klopp's actually improving as a player due to us declining and continuing to play that high line with a team that can't really do what they were doing in the last 3-4 years. He's getting exposed more, which is meaning he has to save more, which is making him look. He's world class. We're all agreeing with this. For me, probably the best keeper in the world. I would go and say that. But where we're declining and we've not stepped up, we've not changed anything, and we have more tendencies to concede quite early in the high line. I feel like he's having to make more saves. So what it's doing to some of our fans is, oh, he's got better because he's making so many more saves. But in theory, he hasn't really got better. He's just having to do more due to us not being as good as we were the last 2-3 years. That's where I think it is. But I think you're spot on, JJ. I don't think he's actually improved as a keeper. He's just having to do more now.
Exactly, but that's since he's come in. We've seen the season he actually declined was a season when the centre-backs and everyone were poor. But the stats from Roma suggest that he was a keeper already on the rise, and that's why we spent the amount of money we did on him. It wasn't a scenario where, you know, we had Karius and Karius was poor, but Karius became what Alisson is right now. We got rid of Karius. We didn't give Karius time. We didn't give Karius time.
Which is funny.
Karius got us to the Champions League final, people.
Ironic how we don't give players time.
How we don't give players time, but listen, but this is another conversation. But this,
he made a very good point. Can you remember? Because when he said this, G, I was on the train like, nah, for real. We were in for 2 keepers, and I remember.
Yeah,
I don't.
I'm trying to think who. I'm gonna try to find it now. I can't remember who it was, but it wasn't just an Alisson, and that was it. There was another keeper that was in for.
It was him and someone else. It was him I feel like the other guy was the more number one target, and if we didn't get him,
Alisson was the next one. Yeah, I'm sure it was like that.
I can't remember.
Was it Oblak? Was it Oblak?
In my mind, I feel like it wouldn't even be someone like him. Do you think we got that kind of money to just be splashing?
Yeah, I don't think it was.
Because remember, Oblak at that time was like what Alisson is today. You know what I mean? One of, if not the best keeper.
I can't remember it. I can't remember it. But
was it Jack Butland? I see Parrot saying Jack Butland. But maybe it was Oblak. I see a lot of you saying Oblak in the chat and stuff like that. But let me know, guys. Let me know.
It was Oblak. It was Oblak.
And we just refused because he had a mad buyout clause at the time, innit? So
yeah. But I mean, we still smashed the record for a keeper though, 68 million. So do you know what I mean? And it's funny because Sean Dock saying, how much time you want to give Karius? The guy's a liability. Wasn't in one game. Wasn't
I was just about to say
games, because the Champions League final and then the pre-season thing after that, we didn't see him after that.
Oh yeah.
Game against Preston, it was 2 games.
It's because of the magnitude of the game.
This is why I say again, it's about the fortunes and being there at the right time. Because the reality is, if we lost that game, because we was always going to lose the game, in my opinion. But if we had lost the game and Karius didn't make any of those mistakes, would we have been looking at Alisson like that? Yeah. I think Klopp, the only reason why Klopp even moved for Alisson, I genuinely believe this is one of the few times where fan pressure and pressure from outside just got too intense.
Got too intense, yeah.
He just said, nah, he has to go. Like fans were like, I'm bro, I was seeing death threats. Like Karius is getting death threats from this game, you know. He said, yeah, you gotta bounce, my guy. You definitely gotta bounce.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. You know what? I actually want to go and see. I'm gonna go and get up whilst we're talking Karius' stats in 17-18. Because I've got a feeling they're on par with Alisson's. I've got a feeling they're on par with Alisson's.
They're definitely not far off at the bare minimum.
Far off, exactly. Cool. The next player, man. Next big money signing. Star. And we're talking about stars. Do you know what I mean? Virgil van Dijk.
Van Dijk.
I'm gonna look again, man. Stats. Consistent as always, 34 out of 34 games played, 10 clean sheets.
Man played every game that season. Fucking hell.
Yeah, he played every game that
words.
season as well when he was at a thing. 96 interceptions, 40.8 per passes per 90, 249 duels won, and no errors leading to a goal. This is in 15,
That was actually a
16.
stat that they kept putting up. I remember.
Yeah, this is in 15, 16 people. Crazy, crazy, crazy stat. On the right-hand side, as you can see, Virgil van Dijk, no, this is a goated season. 30 out of 38 games played, 20 clean sheets,
That's a joke.
38 tackles, 74%, 40 interceptions, 79.9 passes per 90, 244 duels won, and 1 error leading to a goal. This it's a replica. We're talking about 2 different teams like on at different levels in their progression. So obviously you've got Southampton, which are mid to lower end of the table. You're at Liverpool that were top 4 and kind of trying to challenge for those major honours. Games played is identical. They played enough games. The clean sheets, obviously, there's a massive disparity at Liverpool. 20 clean sheets, that's a team issue. So that's not an individual it's a team kind of stat. It's not an individual stat. Like Virgil van Dijk wasn't solely responsible for 20 clean sheets as he would have been for 20 goals per se. But we're looking, tackles, he's making less tackles. Liverpool probably have more of the ball. Percentage is the same. It's 1% in it. Interceptions, he's made more interceptions at Southampton, making less at Liverpool. But look at the passes per night. He's making more because there's more, like I said, more possession based. But look at the duels won. 249 duels won to 244. He's probably doing more work at Southampton than he would at Liverpool. The stats are identical. Errors leading to a goal. 1 error leading to a goal. 1 error leading to a goal and 0. I mean, come on, that's minute. And we're looking at another player there, G and Romz, that didn't get dramatically better. He's just playing at a different. He's playing at the same level at a different team.
Again, and this is it. And you can tell by the obviously different teams. So the error leading to a goal. I'm more impressed the fact that he had no errors leading to a goal for Southampton and the fact that he's actually got one playing for Liverpool. Is that because Liverpool are a lot more riskier? Again, different team, different tactics and stuff like that. When you look at the Jules one, again, certain stats. Obviously, we give you guys different types of stats. Whatever one you want to pick out, you pick out, and then you can compare, blah, blah, blah. Some are obviously going to be a lot more in favor for Liverpool. But there are key stats. And you know what? Next time, I'm going to even tell Jerry, we need to even highlight these ones because these are the ones that we really need to look at. So that error leading to a goal plus the Jules one, as Jerry said, it's more or less the same. It's more or less the same. So how much better is he getting? And again, this is what I'm saying. Is this down to the system, the tactics that we're playing at that time, being around better players, better manager? Or because if you had said those are the stats on the right hand side that he had for Southampton, but then when you go over to the right hand side, he had those same stats that he's got obviously at Southampton. I'm thinking, right, that means he would have got significantly worse, but they're more or less the exact same. Then the difference isn't the difference you're seeing is because he's playing for Liverpool. So clean sheets, obviously, that season as well. 38 games, I think he played and we got 20 clean sheets. That's a team thing, of course. And even the 10 clean sheets he got at Southampton, that's a team thing. But I know he's going to probably play a larger part in that as opposed to what he would be doing, for Liverpool. So these are the kind of little things that here we go. These are the kind of little things that you just got to kind of take. And again, it's all about context, man. It's all about context. How much better is he actually getting? Because now we're actually, sorry, Romz, just quickly. Now we're asking him to tackle more, to engage more, but that's not his game. It's almost like we've reverted to what Southampton would have been doing at that period of time before we signed him. So are we going to see, obviously, I don't know what the numbers are for this season. Are we going to see those numbers dramatically decrease in certain areas? Or are we going to see the exact same? It's going to be interesting to even see. Sorry,
I think it's amazing how we're comparing both seasons because when actually looking, has the player got better? You'd have, because numbers don't lie, it's in front of you to see. You'd have to say not dramatically because I feel like because he's playing for a bigger club, he's playing harder competitions, i.e. the Champions League, and competing at the Prem for that Prem title. He's going to be under more scrutiny, but there's a fine line because where he's under more scrutiny, he can showcase his talent. So let's say he played poorly, you're going to see it more, you're going to hear of it more because he's challenging for things and he's at a bigger club. But because he didn't within them 2-3 years, and we're competing for the two biggest club trophies you can win, because he showcased it, it's kind of a placebo. Everyone thinks he's improved as a player because he's showcasing at the highest level. When in theory, if you look statistically, not really. But I think it's interesting. But I think the main point is, I think Chris McAvoy said it. I don't think we've made him better. He's just playing around better players. It's as simple as that. Because we need to remember that season as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. He was second in Ballon d'Or. Like, I know it's not a great way to measure things, but he was voted. This is by, remember, it's not by fans, it's by footballing peers and managers. He was voted behind Messi.
But
and arguably, people saying he was the best that year. So
exactly. And look, and he was the best that year. But it's funny because if I went in and we get that up again, if I went and said to you, yeah, you know what? This was Virgil's stats for that season. Yeah.
Which is probably his best season.
At Southampton. So not even on the right, people, on the left. So from Southampton, if that was his stats, people would be like, wow, yeah, that's Virgil, beast mode. People are in the chat saying beast mode. When he was at Southampton in 15-16, no one was saying beast mode. We didn't get him in 15-16. We got him 17-18. What is that saying to us? Yes, he had injuries and that type of thing after that, but we weren't in for him. So what he's done, he wasn't a poor player and got better. He wasn't a mediocre player and went to the next level. He just carried on the trajectory, which then poses the question yet again, and I'll ask you people, is Klopp making players better, or is it the system that's making their players better? But it doesn't necessarily include Klopp. It's FSG. It's the fact that FSG scouted him. Because who's in charge of the scouting department? Was it Linders? Are we going to give Linders the props for that one? same as in Dortmund. Are we going to give Klopp the props for signing Lewandowski?
By the way,
we can give him the props, but we've got to give everyone else the props as well. Everyone else in the backroom staff, and it's mad because when we say that means we've got to put some respect on FSG then.
Which I know some of you don't want to do.
Exactly.
They're gonna kill you. Because I
told you, we're the naughty kids in the class. We like the controversy, bro.
The names you lot were reeling off at Dortmund that he had on his name, I knew it was a lot, but I did not think it was that much. That was crazy. And like you said, Jay, after he's left, the names you were reading off again, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's mad.
And by the way, as well, people act like, now I'm gonna double check just to confirm it. Let's not act like Dortmund prior to Klopp were a team who were winning titles or anything like that. So the fact that they've gone so long again without even winning titles, it kind of fits what they were doing anyway, until they get another manager in who can utilize the players that they've got there, which they already have, like Klopp did, which is utilize the players, obviously got a system that worked for everybody and etc. And everything just kind of fell into line. It fits into what goes on there at Borussia Dortmund. So let's not act like Dortmund prior to Klopp getting there were, winning the league as much as, or even as close as Bayern Munich. And then, he kind of took them to the next level, and look at them now. Because I know a lot of people say, oh, look at what they did now, kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, they're doing exactly what they were always doing. Yeah. I'm trying to say it was always one of those kind of things.
I remember before Klopp brought them to the pinnacle again, it was more like the Hamburgs and the Werder Breins that were challenging the fan. I didn't hear of Dortmund when I was younger, really, until I saw the replays of.
No, I only knew about Dortmund because of Paul Lambert. You know that
Paul Lambert, champion of
He was a baller. Yeah, that's it. But that's it. But that's because one time I heard, he won the Champions League or something mad like that. And I was like,
he won something. I think it was 98. Yeah, 97, 98. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, what? I was like, no, it was 96, 97. Sorry, it was 96, 97.
But they used to have players like Jan Koller and all.
Yeah, that was mad. It was mad. I didn't even realize. It's crazy. It's crazy when you look at it. Say Pirates King saying 97 as well. It was 96, 97. BVB effortless saying Borussia Dortmund finished 13th season before Klopp joined.
That's what I'm saying.
Very,
That's what I'm saying. It's not like they were doing like amazingly well, or they're not a team who were renowned for winning in any way. They're a bit like Liverpool. They weren't renowned for winning anything of significance. Like
now it's crazy because they're runners up consistently. Like 19, 20, 20, 21. Consistently. So Look, the next one, obviously, big player,
Big dog.
big dog. G's top G.
Come on.
Mo Salah. This is 15-16 Serie A for Roma. You played 29 out of 31 games. Got 15 goals and 11 assists in 29 games.
26 goal involvement. That's pretty good, man.
That is mad.
In 31 games.
Yeah, in 29. It's 29 out of 31. Their league 31, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
29 games. Look, 34 out of 80 shots on target. Look, 1.3 dribbles per 90. 40.8 passes per 90. 94 minutes per goal contribution with 1.3 tackles and interceptions. They're both equal per 90. Those are mad stats. Those are mad stats. Those are stats that if Salah was to get last season, the season before, we'd be like, yeah, good. That's a good season from Salah.
100%.
So
Actually, a mad season.
So it's crazy because we're seeing a player that was already on that trajectory. We haven't gone and signed Lavia like Southampton did and Lavia is now performing the way he is, and it's like, oh wow, like you brought him to the fore. Or it's not even like a Trent, where Trent was a nobody and has become a Trent, or even like a Robertson and his stats drop. Like Robertson's actually a player that has improved since he's been at Liverpool. Salah is not one of them. The big stars in the team, he's not one of them. We look at the stats. Look, 18-19 in the Premier League, 38 out of 38 games played, 22 goals and 8 assists. So we're talking about 30 goals and assists, 64 out of 137 on target, 4.17 dribbles per 90, 75.9% 75.9 passes percent pass accuracy, 109 minutes per goal involvement. And then 0.58 tackles and 0.14 interceptions per 90, which is a massive, massive decrease. Looking at those stats, G, what's alarming to you, man? Or wrong?
I'd probably say, I wouldn't say alarming, but maybe the 0.58 in tackles and interceptions, purely because at Roma it was 1.3. And I'm looking at that thinking, I would have thought that it would be exactly similar, if not more, for Liverpool because of the way that we actually play, to be honest with you. But same time, I'm like, okay, fair enough. But everything else is kind of exactly the same, bar the passing accuracy. Again, Liverpool going to be a team, more dominant team than I think 15-16 was that at Roma. Yeah. So he's gonna, we're gonna be the more dominant team in give or take most of, if not all of our games, bar against Manchester City. So everything else more or less the exact same. So this is a player who was already getting the goals, getting the assists. You know, I mean, if anything, he got more goals here and less assists in that season than he did obviously for the 15-16 season. So I'm looking at that thinking to myself, again, Mo Salah is probably one of the prime ones I'm looking at, is that take out his first season, because I think that dwarfs the statistics a bit too much, hence the reason why we didn't use it. If you look at him more or less since that first season, these are the kind of numbers that kind of he does. You know, I know he's had a few other seasons where obviously in all competitions, I think he's got like 30 goals, maybe in one other season. But, you know, the around the 20 to 30 mark is what Mo usually does. And that's what he was kind of already doing, you know, for Roma and obviously Fiorentina when he was there on loan. Like, this is a player who is already there. Like, he was already there. All you need now is, I guess, the right manager, the right system, the right tactics, the right environment, the freedom to be able to go and do what you do best. And I feel like that's what he was able to do here, man.
If we're being honest, football fans are quite fickle. The only reason we know he was already there, but because of his stint at Chelsea and, you know, because he was a flop at Chelsea, he's automatically a bad player. Let's be honest, not a lot of people in this country may watch Roma, because even another stat, if you bring that back up, JJ, another stat that kind of, it's not alarming, but it shows not really his ability, it shows more his confidence. You know, 4.17 dribbles per 90 compared to his 1.3 dribbles per 90 at Roma. It shows at Liverpool his confidence is high. He knows he's the main man, the talisman, where at Roma, correct me if I'm wrong, you two, they had Dzeko in that team. That was the main man.
Someone was even saying in the chat that he was even playing through the middle. More so at Roma.
What I would say about that stat, and it's actually funny that you said that that's like he's playing with more confidence. I find that very ironic, because when you're looking at that stat, I'll get up again. He's got 15 goals and 11 assists, yeah? Making 1.3 dribbles per 90. That's a much more effective player than a player that has to get 22 goals and 8 assists, making 4.17 dribbles per 90, because essentially it means the ball goes to him all the time. But the differential in stats, so the goal involvements, you got 94 minutes per goal contribution at Roma. This is 109 minutes per goal involvement. So we're actually looking, and this is Salah, that he doesn't need to go and have the ball to be effective. But where was he playing, G? Down in the centre, right? Now, what's Klopp and what have Linders decided to go and do this season with Salah? Stay out wide and be our creator. And be our creator.
Wait,
that's not his game. That's not his game, because he's probably making more and more dribbles. He's getting the ball and running around a lot. No end product.
Was Jacko there that season, or had he just left?
I think he was there.
I feel like he played a season with Dzeko, because I'm sure I've seen them say cool to each other, like hug each other in a game before.
No, they have. Let me see.
I remember they were crazy one year together.
I feel like, they were. They fed off each other quite well. Big man, small man.
No, they played together because Dzeko left in 21, innit? Dzeko left Roma in 2021.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So they definitely played together.
Oh, that season he was on. That's it. That season he was with Salah on loan. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think he's injury stricken. So you're right. Salah was playing a lot centrally.
Yeah. But it's interesting. It's interesting because ridiculously effective player, as we can go and see. But he's already on that trajectory. He's already 94 minutes per goal contribution is ridiculous. I'm pretty sure, and this is the thing, if we get Gakpo's up, Gakpo scored 54 goals or something like that in like however many games. And that's 60 games.
And this is what I'm saying. And remember, we paid hundreds of guys in the chat. Let me know, is it 35 million for Salah?
You're saying Salah? I'm seeing.
Oh, so yeah, Salah. Gakpo is 37, but rises up to 50 with add-ons and stuff like that. So again, remember, we're looking at Gakpo, and it's the same thing with Mo Salah. And I feel like it's the same kind of signing, which is why I'm hoping it has that same output. Is that you weren't sitting there, and as Romz rightly said, people weren't sitting there looking at Salah and thinking, "Yo, man, Salah's this is the guy I want to sign." I definitely was not sitting there and watching Salah and saying, "Yeah, I want to sign this guy." Of course not. Jurgen Klopp also thought the same thing, because he felt that maybe a Julian Brandt or a Goetze might be better options for him. That's what he wanted. Remember that. But clearly, the scouting department or whoever decided that we need to sign Mo Salah, then that is the exact individual. And I think these are the kind of things that we definitely need to look at when we're looking at these players. How much of an improvement have they actually had, or are they kind of doing the same as they were doing before, but now they are all put together? If I put all of these players into one in their best season, so not even Van Dijk, if I put all of the, I don't know, if I just think of
this season's best players. This season's best players. So this season's best players. Haaland.
If I put them all together in the same team,
Odegaard, Casemiro, that whole team.
If I put them all together, exactly what you're saying. But if I put them all together in the same team over, say, a period of 1 or 2 seasons, they're probably going to have that same level of output, regardless. Anyway,
and they all have to play at the same level consistently together.
Together.
They all have to be on a. There was never. I spoke about this before when we talk about City. If I told you about Grealish last season, what would you tell me about Grealish? He was shit, right? He was dead.
He was shit, yeah, of course.
He was dead, but they won the league. At Liverpool, exactly. When we won the league, no one was shit.
No one
was shit because everyone had to be that good. This season, the season before, who else was dead? Sterling was dead. Sterling was dead. You weren't that great. They won the league. They don't like. This is what I'm saying is that Klopp. A lot of the times, the stars have had to align for us to go and win what we've had and won. Because what we've seen now is Fabinho not really playing well, Henderson not really playing well, Van Dijk not playing well, and Salah not really scoring the way he is. And look at our team now. Nothing's changed in our team. Nothing's changed in our team. The system hasn't changed. The players haven't changed. The regime hasn't changed. The happy birthdays for people haven't changed in the different languages. Do you know what I mean? Nothing's
The
changed.
hugs. No, if anything, the hugs have got more. I feel like we're giving more hugs.
Say it more
More.
aggressive.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
we're more aggressive in that.
And Kalonji, I don't think you're reading the stats properly. Saying Salah's been effective, your stats are misleading. They proved that he's effective.
And well, that's what we're saying.
Like, they were saying he's effective. We're saying he's an effective player. He's been so effective that Klopp didn't improve him. He's just been very effective. I don't know what.
By the way, none of these stats are going to say that we're saying that anybody is dead.
The stats show he's been effective.
Exactly. Thank you.
I feel like with all the players we're about to go through, it's going to be a similar narrative. Not that Klopp's improved them, but because they're under more scrutiny, because they're at the bigger club playing in the better competition, there's just going to be this perception that they are better because they're proving it in a harder level. Do you know what I mean? But in theory, he's not actually improved. I think Jerry hit the nail on the head. Robbo, you have to say, because you can't say the same one from Hull and I think it was Hearts before Hull. Or I forgot what or Queen of the. I don't know what Scottish.
He was at Celtic at one point as well, back in the day.
Was that Celtic?
I think as a youth, I think we might have had a trial there.
Got released.
But I think that is one that you could probably say off the top of your head. But I think the narrative will be similar with a lot of the players, man.
I think I'm just looking at this here, Chris. Don't let the stats fool you. If you watch these players, then you will know that he did not perform that well. But yes, his numbers might have looked decent. I don't know how many assists he got in this season that you're talking about. In terms of the performance-wise, Sterling was not that good. If you actually watch Manchester City, he spent a lot of time on the bench.
I think he even come out and said it himself, G, the end of that season. It wasn't my
Exactly.
best.
And he was on the bench for most of that season. Like, he was coming off the bench more. Yes, still scoring, still doing his thing every now and again. But in terms of the Sterling, would we say maybe 2 years into his time at Manchester City, he was playing all the time. You know, he's got over 100 goals, I think, for them, kind of thing. Like, that was that Sterling. This Sterling, the performances were not up there. It's a bit like Salah this season, stat padding. That's all he was doing. He was just stat padding. That's what Salah's doing this season. Poor, but he's stat padding. He's getting the goals. He's getting the tap-ins. He's getting the assists, but he's not really performing.
We got it. Chris McAvoy, a big Sterling fan. Now we get it. Jeez,
I get it. I get it.
So man, Chris.
No. Listen, I'm not dissing Sterling at all. I like Sterling. I think he's all right. Like, I'm just saying that performance-wise, he just wasn't really. He wasn't at the performance levels that he had set for himself, obviously, at Manchester City. A bit like Grealish. And the Grealish one, just as we was talking about him, I find that one very interesting because I feel like Pep Guardiola still gives him and still trusts him quite a lot. But obviously, stats, and Romz has mentioned this before, the goals and assists, you're not always going to see them with him. And I'm starting to think anyway, that's not what he's necessarily requiring from someone like a Grealish, as opposed to maybe like a Mahrez, who he probably wants him to get, a few more goals and a few more assists and things like that. But
it's weird because we talk about Mahrez, right? And Mahrez,
he was their top goal scorer last year.
The last,
wasn't
but with 11 goals in the league.
Oh wow!
The season before he got 9 goals. The season before he got 11 goals, and 18-19 he got 7 goals, and they won the league in that season as well. 7 goals and 4 assists. Darwin's got that basically. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm saying.
It comes down to the fee you paid because, that's, if we're being honest, for me, Grealish last season, yes, I wouldn't say dead. He's underwhelmed because of the fee. But if you actually take, if
Grealish was a free transfer, we'd be saying what a signing that was.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
You'd be saying what a signing is. You'd be like, oh my God, the way he draws people in. Look how he's getting that foul. Oh, look how he's linking up. To have an option like that is great. We'd be saying the same thing about Nunes. It's the price. Let's not fool ourselves. It's the price. It's like with everything in life, though, isn't it?
I even saw something.
If you went to like Amsterdam and paid a price for a service and the service was dead, you'd be pissed off, innit?
I'd want my money back, but I know I'm not getting it back. But yeah,
exactly.
But I was gonna say, even the greatest example last week, I heard a City fan say,
I definitely want my money back. I'll be standing there for a minute. I'm trying to get that fucking fee back. Are you crazy?
They might just slam. They might
But
just
look,
slam the
let's
door.
say no, but let's say you paid €10, right? €10, or you
It's
paid
30, but go on, go on.
or slap another 100, or slap another zero on that, and you paid €100. The €100, you want the service to be top. You want the whole shebang. The €10 thing is just like even if you didn't, you won't even ask for your money back. You're like, that was rubbish anyway. That was Minamino.
Yeah.
That was rubbish anyway.
Yeah.
No one's
See,
saying about Minamino how much we miss him.
it's true.
But
It's true.
You're spot on, Jay. Because even last week, I was seeing some City fans on TL like, this is why we brought Grealish in. Look, he brings him on against Chelsea, then he creates our goal and whatnot. But then another City fan replied, but that's not what we brought him in for 100 minutes. So, like you said, it's the price. It's honestly is the price tag.
It is. And look, the last one, and look, we decided to get this player up because this was the big money signing. He was supposed to solve our midfield problems when we had Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago, won the Champions League.
Yeah.
He was signed to come the next season. Got that number 8. Was supposed to solve our midfield issues then. It gave us a different option. We were supposed to transition away from Henderson. It was supposed to be Naby Keita.
Oh, mate.
Let's look at
When
the
you-
stats, man.
I'm sorry, guys. When you look at these stats, fucking hell, man. No, I was just gonna say, when you look at these stats, like 16, 17, that's what we bought, by the way. That's what we thought we were buying. And this is probably the 18, 19 season. It's probably his best season if you just look at in terms of we could only find a season where he actually played more than 10, 15 games, in the Premier League. And this was, I think, the only one.
Yeah, I mean, look, we thought we were signing this type of player, getting almost double figures in goals and assists, as you're seeing, 8 goals, 7 assists, playing more or less every game. Yes, he gets the odd injury, but or he misses the odd game, but it's fair. 4.2 dribbles per 90 people with 64.29% succession rate. So the success of his dribbles really, really high. If he's dribbling at you, he's going past you. And look at the amount of dribbles as well. That's important to go and see. The pass accuracy, 8.8% pass accuracy, but then I look at the assists he got, and it means that he's playing much riskier passes. I think that's easy to go and see. And then look at the defensive type of end of the field. 2.6 interceptions per 90, 2.6 tackles per 90. I mean, you're seeing a player that's in basketball, they call them what's the word they use? A two-way player.
A two-way player. Yeah.
And he's a two-way player. He's equally as good going forward as he is defending. A real proper number 8. I mean, if we had got this player now, we'd be laughing. Sitting here in 18-19 when we won the league.
No, year before.
So just even look at the two images. He's got hair in the one on the left and the right one.
Like that. Like his hair looking a little piece healthy. I know it's coming back a piece, but you know what I mean? Like it was still looking healthy in that.
Yeah, he looked like he was peaking on the left, and Albert would know a lot about this. He's probably about 28 in that picture, man. He's about 38 now. Do you know what I mean? So we're seeing a different bigger Albert for that one. But look, we're seeing in the Premier League, look, 25 out of 38 games played. So look, still playing a lot of games, but not missing 1 or 2. He's missing much more. And then look, 2 goals and 1 assist.
Wow.
Output down. Dribbles per 90. 2.78 dribbles per 90. 55.8%. That's a massive it's almost that 10% decrease. A 10% decrease. Almost half. It's not good. You're talking about succession rate, but he's basically doing 1 point something less dribbles per 90. If not half. So, and if you're making 4, that's a lot. That's almost that's like 43% less. Mad. 88% pass accuracy. So he's passing the ball more, but tackles per 90. It's down by a bit. And when you're talking about a system, we talk about Liverpool's system where percentages matter, and it's about getting crucial tackles, especially the expansive way in which Liverpool play. That's that's a big drop off. Wanting to up that, and then the interception. Sorry, Romz. This is just shocking.
Yeah,
less than 1 interception per 90.
That's mad.
We've got a completely different player now. A completely different player, and for me, this isn't down to the system. This is down to the system. This isn't down to the player. because we saw how we played for Guinea in the AFCON. Very
Mm.
similar to what we're seeing in the Bundesliga. He comes to Liverpool. The style doesn't fit. The player doesn't fit the style of play, and that's what we're seeing. Sorry, Romz.
Because even you were saying, could you quickly get the stats back up
Yeah.
for Naby? You know when you were like the tackles per 90 in the 16-17 Bundesliga season, it was 2.6 per 90, and in Liverpool it's 2.39. It's slightly decreased. You were speaking about this in the summer when the percentages drop even by 1%.
Mhm.
It makes a massive difference. You were speaking about this earlier in the season, but it may look small, but because of how we play in our system, it's a massive difference. And when you've not just got Naby doing that, when you've got the two midfielders next to him as well, a slight percentage off, it makes a whole lot of a difference. Whole lot.
No, you do. You see it, man. You see it, and it is scary because we're looking at Naby Keita, and this is where I don't begrudge the signing, because looking at the stats and looking at the player, if it worked, it would have been a great signing. It
Mhm.
hasn't worked out. We're talking about 17-18. This is 17. This is 18-19. Sorry, we're in 2022-23 season. He should have been shipped off, as Albert said, with his crutches in his wheelchair.
They got Albert, man. I think it's and the thing is, like, it's on top of obviously Naby's stats. Yeah, we ain't trying to, man.
No,
I think
Albert was saying Naby peaked in 15, 16, 17. He was 30 to 32 then. That's why when the archetypal Africa, that's when the archetypal African will peak. It's true, innit? It's true. Look, you know what? I'll put one player out there for everyone to go and research and do their research properly. Michael Essien. Research that, brother, and come chat to me afterwards.
Him, Kanu, if you want. Like, we can go down the list if you want.
I've heard. Was there even a little case on Falcao at Atletico?
Boy, he's actually someone I used to think, nah, that's weird how you've just gone from here to here like this. Like, but I think even with Naby, like, when you even look at, in terms of, it's just not worked out for him. Okay, cool, whatever. We know these, needs to be sold. But then, sometimes then I watch him play sometimes and I'm just like, I don't get you, bruv. Like, I don't understand how, you just didn't work out. Obviously, I know it's the injuries and stuff, but surely Klopp, and someone told me, or I read somewhere today about Mo Salah, and someone was saying, oh, this guy never gets injured and blah, blah, blah. But apparently Mo Salah's got his own kind of regime and stuff that he actually goes through at Liverpool. He doesn't actually follow like what everyone else is doing, which makes total sense. Naby is someone I feel needed to go on that as well, because I don't understand how a player like this has been mismanaged. And that's what I kind of put it down to as well. Yes, the player is the player at the end of the day, but I'm sorry, if a player continuously keeps getting injured at your football club, they're unless it's like hereditary or something just in your genetic makeup where it's like, nah, he's gonna, this is gonna just keep happening because that's just in his makeup. Fair enough. If it's not that, this guy has just been mismanaged just over time, and it's been a continuous for years. Bro, we're in 2023 now. 2023, and we're talking about this guy. Yo, man are saying, yeah, I hate him. He needs to leave, take off that number 8, and all of this kind of stuff. I'm like, right, like, we weren't saying that when we signed him, boy. When we signed him, it was, yo, this might be the guy to really come in and do something. And we're not, obviously, unfortunately, through injuries, we just not seen that. So I'm saying, for me, it's just been really, really mismanaged. But with all of these stats and stuff like that, what's that?
Sorry, Albert.
Sorry. Albert said, Essien went to school with my cousin in St. Augustine. They were in the same class. My cousin turned 47. Essien is still 41.
And there you go, guys. You know what I mean? We don't, you know what I mean? Like, Africans will stay Africans at the end of the day like this. That's unfortunate as it is. But, like, I just don't understand how, when I'm looking at all of these stats, so Naby Keita, Virgil van Dijk, Mo Salah, and we could have got up every single player in the team, but that would have taken forever. When we're looking at these players, guys, we're not saying that these guys were rubbish. We're not saying that Klopp was shit. We're not saying that the system, none of that stuff. What we're just showing you is that, are we seeing a manager who is able to come in and improve players to this level that we should be then expecting the team to then be doing whatever we expect the team to be doing? Or is this a manager who's very good at working with a certain profile of player, good for a couple of years with the system, with the tactics, with the style, and then that's it? Because if I asked, like we asked before, please name me, and it cannot be Goetze and it can't be flipping Trent because they're like the generational talents of that team. Take out those two. Name me any young players that he's ever developed at any football club, like any. Maybe Mainz. I don't know. I don't know any player from Mainz that he managed, but name me any players. All the Liverpool ones, there are none. There's none anybody can tell me because all of them have either failed here at the club or are like Curtis Jones, who's probably the next one up that anyone can name.
Yeah,
At
it's funny
Dortmund,
you say
I
that,
can't
G.
remember.
It's funny you say that. Even when I was watching Oxford the other night, Brannigan was in midfield. You know what Klopp said about him?
Brannigan.
The Klopp said, he's got everything to be a midfielder. I can see him starting in the next 2-3 years. No disrespect to him. Brother is 20, I think 27, 28, playing for Oxford now. Like, you've had
Playing
Stuart.
for Oxford in a game against Arsenal where that was a big game for them. Like, yo, we need this for the money, if anything. Like, let alone for the football.
You're spot on, G, because I kind of came into that illusion like, yeah, Klopp's 30 with young players, and like, then I've actually stripped it back like, wait, who's he actually developed?
Who's he developing?
Like, it's crazy. It's actually great. It was you that made me think. I had to do my research a month or two ago because I remember you said we're always saying Klopp's good with young players, but who's he actually? When I'm deep in some of the young players he's worked with, one, they weren't young, so they're already kind of progressing, and two, it was the previous Aaron. It was the previous manager. So, boy, like you said, Goetze and Trent, you can't really include them. They're already the generational ones, but boy,
yeah, man.
Boy.
Like I said, this was an interesting look. Like when you looked at the stats, a lot of things were surprising. Like we know saying, look, people overrate Klopp's ability to develop talent. 24 to 26-year-olds are already developed, but people then act like Klopp does water to wine. And
that's the point we're trying to make.
And that's the point is that Klopp, yes, can you get the maximum out of that age bracket, out of that profile of player? Yes. Does he properly integrate the likes of Harvey Elliott, Carvalho, Curtis Jones?
Bro, you're skipping out. You've just skipped out Ben Woodburn, Jordan Ibe, Shea Oju,
Jerome Sinclair,
Rhian Brewster.
Brewster.
We're talking about a lot of players, bro. This isn't even just one or two. We're talking probably about a team's worth of players that this guy has never done anything promising with.
And when you look at, they haven't developed and even left Liverpool and gone on to better things. So Rhian Brewster, great example. What happened to Rhian Brewster?
Was he still at Sheffield United?
Yeah,
two goals at Sheffield United in his career, 5 goals, something like that.
He's gonna have to turn into a midfielder soon.
He can't do that. He ain't got the legs for that.
Well, he better do something.
I was gonna say, I'm just doing my research on Sven Bender. Would you say that might be a player Klopp developed? Because I'm looking now when he first joined. Then again, no, he was already that's void. Sorry, I just read something. He was already coming through. He was at Dortmund too, and yeah, he was 1920, but he already kind of had, again, similar to Trent, he had that name already. And
okay, you know what? Again, even if you want to, that's fine. I don't mind. Throw him in there.
That's fine. Like, we're not trying to, like, G's not, me and G aren't sitting there thinking, he ain't developed anyone. Like, no,
yeah, I'm not saying
that. Somewhere down the line in Mainz, Sven Bender was probably 2019, but then you're looking at it and saying, that's a league where there wasn't a lot of expectation to go and you need to get us to the top 4. You need to do this with Borussia Dortmund because of look where they were. Progression was what Borussia Dortmund needed to do. And Sven Bender probably was like, yeah, you can go and play there. But this is my point, is that I use Sven Bender wouldn't have been the answer at 19 and 20 now at Liverpool. The same way Elliott's being made to be the answer in midfield.
But and the thing is, it's not even just that. Like, it's that, sorry. But then caveat that, I'm also talking about, guys, he's been here for 7 years. How long is he at Dortmund for? Let's say 5 years, I think it was. If no, 7. No, sorry. Yeah, because they've got the 7 years.
Season.
So 14 years, we can name less than 5 players in 14 years. That's a long time for a manager for you to tell me, yeah, there's about 3 or 4, maybe there's another one in there. So, yeah.
Have you heard about this, G?
No,
Bro,
but I
it's true.
slightly
He owns a chicken shop in Birmingham, like a Morley's equivalent.
rotted.
I was there the other day. I was trying to see him.
I'm gonna have to take a trip out to Burns, boy, and tell him, yo, it's good, my guy. But it's
Is
like
he still
guy,
kicking ball?
he was for some
Kicking
Turkish
ball?
team.
You ain't
But I
got
don't know
me
if
for
he's
no
still
Turkish
like
team
kicking
anymore,
ball.
bro.
But
After COVID, he probably had to dust out. What do you
yeah,
mean, man?
He was
he's
getting
definitely not
released from
my age,
everywhere.
so he's
Released
younger than
from
me.
us. Released from what? He was just getting released from
I'm
everywhere.
pretty sure in Turkey as well. I think his deal came with like a package, like a credit package for teeth for veneers.
We're chatting shit.
I'll get up. I'll get up.
But it's like I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, I look at and again, guys, I'm not saying that these guys need to go on and play for flipping like I don't know Barcelona, Real Madrid. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that these guys are not even, especially at Liverpool more so. These guys are not going on to. Romz just said it there. Brannigan's flipping down at fucking Oxford United. Like these guys are not going on to do like massive or they're not even at a level where you can even say maybe we might even look at him again. But then when I look at managers like your Pep Guardiola, and at the end of the day, he's not even managing these guys. But I'm seeing your Rico Lewis's, I'm seeing your Cole Palmers, your
Lavia.
Jadon Santos, your Lavias. Like I'm looking at all of these players and I'm saying shit. Like Lavia is good enough to. I know Pep was sitting there thinking, I'd rather take you than Calvin Phillips right now. 100%. I'd rather
Remember
have
what
you.
you lot? Remember in the summer, yeah, I watched him in Premier League 2 game at the back end of last season. I said when they signed Phillips, I said they don't need to, Lavia's the art. He's already ready at 18, 19. And now he's coming to fruition. I don't know what Pep.
And then look,
but
and
then what's the trick, G? There's a buyback clause, so when to take.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they'll sign him in maybe next. If Southampton go down, they might try to sign him or something.
30 million as well.
30 million. And then look at Rico Lewis. Look how fantastic Rico. Again, only a few games, so let's not go too crazy overboard. But I've seen him come in and he does not even look out of place. Cole Palmer didn't look out of place. Phil Foden been able to improve, been able to even improve. Jadon Sancho. Obviously, the main development was obviously at Borussia Dortmund, so fine. But I'm just looking at and that's just in the last 3 since whenever Sancho was there. Let's say that, and I'm looking at thinking, how are you able to develop all of these players to then move on if they do to a good level? But then I'm stuck with Brannigan at Oxford, Jordan Ibe not kicking ball, Jerome Sinclair selling chicken. Like
Yandanda at Ross County. Remember Yandanda?
He's not at
oh
Swansea.
my days,
No,
Yandanda.
Bro,
At
he
what
was supposed
brother?
to be the
And
next.
this is what I am talking about. How much is it like when it comes to young players specifically? And this is what I'm talking about. When it does come to these young players, no one can chat to me about Klopp, and he's definitely not the guy when it comes to utilizing young players.
Where's Adam Lewis as well? Anyone heard of?
Oh,
Adam?
bro, he went to France at one point, and then I never saw him again.
I don't know.
D-Dub's got a question saying, are those players already top gems or developed by City? So the likes of Sancho, Lavia.
I'll say everyone bar Sancho, what G said was developed by City. 100%. You've even got
Oh yeah, the
McAtee
course was developed by City. Where else?
You've even got McAtee on loan. Harwood Bellis at Burnley, whose company is just doing a madness with. There's enough players. Cool, they're getting their experience at Burnley, but they already made their names at City. That it's crazy.
And again, it's the sheer fact that these players are able to then move on. Like Southampton didn't just sign Lavia because they just said, let me sign Lavia. The guy clearly is a baller. So it's showing you the sheer fact that these guys are actually at a level where they're even able to go to another Premier. Forget where Southampton are in the league. They're in the Premier League. They're in the Premier League.
But that's the equivalent. I've never heard of Lavia until we got signed, right? Until we got signed, I'd never seen. I don't think he never made an appearance for City, did he? In any competition?
No.
Maybe
That's the
preseason.
equivalent. That's the equivalent of Doak's made an appearance now, but it's the equivalent of Doak going to Southampton and slapping and tearing it up.
Yeah, it'll be that.
G and JJ. Oh my god, I'm happy you mentioned Southampton. You know another player, City have loaned. Did they sell him or loan him? I think they've loaned him. And he does not. Every time he comes on for Southampton, he looks like he should be a starter. You not seen Sam Adozie recently?
Yeah, another one.
He's dancing past man for fun. He won a penalty the other day. I think he even scored the other day. He's another player that they're not going to Championship in League One. They're going to other Premier League teams and looking like the best players there. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's mad. It's mad. It's
And
mad.
by the way, this isn't. And again,
Big
so
up
that
Wheeler.
people don't
He
get
said they
twisted
stole
in
him.
the comments and stuff like that. This isn't just on Klopp. This is also again looking at the poor youth recruitment that we've obviously done over time. But when you then look at the players that Klopp then deems to be good enough, I'm then looking at them and thinking, are they good enough? Because none of them you put into the first team anyway and have kept there. Fair enough, not a problem. Not everyone can make it from academy to thing. That's calm. What are they doing now with their careers? I then expect that your Ben Woodburns, especially, or players of that kind of ilk, like I then expect them to be kind of at the level now to be doing something for Premier League teams or teams of a higher echelon, not 27 and you're at Oxford United. I don't get it.
I think what we're trying to say is it will hurt, but it will show raw, like they were actually good enough. We kind of want a player to go to another Prem team that was at us and be like, raw, he's actually badding it up now. Like,
yeah,
we can do him back, but we haven't been able to do that in the last
Chelsea.
10, 12
Chelsea.
years.
I want the
Ibe.
Chelsea.
We did it with Ibe. Did we not put? We done it with
A
him and
buyback
Brewster.
clause.
We gave them a buyback clause.
Yeah.
That buyback clause is never getting put in.
Yeah.
Never.
No, JJ,
Brewster
that's what I
is
mean. That's
done.
what I mean. No,
Brewster is done.
we've not put a buyback ball to a player that we've actually wanted to come back. Like, you know what, he's done very well.
And
Let's
knowing
bring him
Liverpool
back.
as well, and knowing how Liverpool are as well, if there was a player that went and popped off like that, Liverpool would be back in for him. So if Brewster was popping off, Liverpool would go and get Brewster.
100%, which is what I want. And by the way, I'm not trying to diss Brewster. I'm just saying, like, I'm showing you, like, if they were really of that, maybe we just overhype them because they're from our academies and because they're our youth players, when the reality is they were never really of that kind of level in the first place. And the level then to even get into that first team wasn't then even, clearly wasn't, as high. But again, it's not to diss Klopp on that, because that's not obviously solely on him. That's the poor investment that we've done into the youth teams. It's all well and good having, your Kyle Gordons that you signed from Derby, or your Ben Dokes that you signed from Celtic and stuff like who've already been developed over there, and you're just bringing them here to do whatever.
But even then, the quality is different. Is Ben Dokes? I don't know, maybe. But is Carvalho? Do we actually believe? I don't know. And Romz, I'm asking this: is Carvalho going to any Premier League and tearing it up?
I would have said Fulham, but not right now, because they're doing them even better without him. Boy,
who else did we sign? What was the other guy? There's a few players we've signed from other teams that are in the academy. Ben Doak was one of them. Who was another one? Frauendorf. We signed him from someone that I think is at Dortmund. I think we signed him from Dortmund.
No, it's not even Dortmund. It was another German team. Yeah, I think we signed.
Cool.
There's someone else.
Is Frauendorf playing starting for any Premier League team?
Bro.
No.
But this is one of our
can I ask
first.
something? How long? Sorry to cut you, JD. How long have we had Kirkby yet? Because we were told brand new facilities, like 4 5G pitches. Yeah, the youth's gonna get better, bro. We've not seen nothing. We've had Kirkby for two years now. We're better off just staying at Melwood, where you have to stand up.
My thing is, what I see that's quite clear is that Liverpool youth teams and that they seem to play a different system to the first team. Whereas I'm not saying that in Man City's first team they're playing the exact same way, 3 at the back and 4 or 5 attackers or whatever. But they play a similar style of football. We don't seem to do that in the youth teams, and it's all completely different. So when these youth players are even coming up anyway, it must be like, it must be basically like moving to a whole new team, because you're just like, okay, cool. Like, they're playing completely differently than how I played for the under 18s 2 days ago. But, let's just see how it kind of goes. Like.
Yeah, I think the way as well. I think when we look at Chris McAvoy, and sorry, I know, I know D-Dubs. Sorry, D-Dubs did go and mention. Let me see if I can get that up. I'll get it up later. But D-Dubs obviously said, look, they invest more into the academy. Yes, they go and do. But then look at the profile of player that they've got: Colwill, Tomori, Gallagher. That Lewis Hall brother. Have you seen the size of him compared to compared to Doak? Like, this is what I'm saying. Or Chukwuemeka, or what's his name?
Amari Hutchinson. Look at the kind of players that they're signing, bro. Man signing Ben Doak and Kyle Gordon.
What I'm saying is, yes, you're right. FSG, the ownership, they're not maybe investing into youth as much as they should, which is a fair point. The problem I've got is when Klopp and Linders come out and call them, they're better than Pedri, better than Gavi, better than this, and they're
You're
better.
already
They're
putting
overrating
pressure
them.
on them.
Because not
that
only
they don't
putting
need.
pressure, you're telling us that these guys are the players.
So
Exactly.
we're
when they
like,
don't-
oh, we got something to look forward.
What was Rhian Brewster?
Yeah.
What was Rhian Brewster supposed to be? The heir apparent of Bobby Firmino.
Yeah.
Not even that. They called him the young Michael Owen because of the amount of goals he was scoring
Yes.
in the academy. He was the young Michael Owen.
Exactly.
He was bagging goals in the
They even
academy.
said it-
Bagging goals.
They even said it about another one of our number 9s. He was banging in goals every game for under Glatzel. I think he done
Glatzel,
his
yeah.
ACL. Big up to keep. He done his
Exactly.
ACL, but they called him. I don't think it was Mac Owen, but they said, oh, he could be the next number 9 for Liverpool, and etc. They were saying the same things.
That's it. Chukwuemeka, that's it. Chukwuemeka, that's it.
We were linked with him just before he went to Chelsea. We were actually linked with him because he was at Gerrard's Villa.
Yeah, exactly. No, he was good. But listen, man, I'm just going to run through some of the comments and then obviously we'll head out because we've been streaming for almost 2 hours. Big up to everyone in the building. Make sure we're smashing the like. Anfield Road End saying, arguably, the only question that hangs over Klopp's head is, has he got the ability to rebuild a team? Very, very true. Ravi Bukhari saying, everything and everyone at the clubs playing to the mans in suits. Playing to the max? No. Club playing to the mans in suits have to step up, fix the blood clot thing, take responsibility. Nah, man, otherwise we ain't progressing, winning big. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know.
They got Ravi there.
Yeah, that was yeah. Trudon saying he's rated for me, not overrated or underrated, just rated. Fairs?
I hear it. We're just here to ask the question.
Exactly. Effortless saying, think some have improved, but it only seems to be the ones that have the higher ceiling, i.e. Mo Salah. Otherwise, a lot of them developed good consistency, but not much else. They probably showed consistency to get the move to Liverpool, to be fair, which is interesting.
Yeah, facts.
Kalonji LFC saying Klopp improved every single player, Verge, Mo, Mane, etc. Pirates King saying, Jerry, mate, G is being an agenda merchant on Klopp. Your best Premier League manager, and you got the best out of Salah, Mane, Hendo, Royce, Gertz, Lewandowski. He showed he's got the minerals.
Bro, I mean, it is what it is. If you think I've got an agenda, I do have an agenda because I want the guy out. So if that means I've got an agenda, then I've got an agenda. There's not much I can really say at the end of the day, bro. Like, I don't know what else to really. If you like Klopp, then cool. I'm not one of those fickle people who care about what you've done in the past. What have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
You know that Janet Jackson tune? What have you done for me lately?
Exactly. By the way, if my thing cuts out, by the way, I'll jump back in.
Yeah, cool. Jamrock saying, Klopp said very recently, all-time players like VVD, Alisson are going to get play all the games if they're fit and available. That will go for Salah as well. You can forget backup right winger. Jesus. Effortless saying at DTV, graphics are clean, bro. Big up for the props.
Hey, big up Jerry, man. Like, he done the graphics. Hey, we're stepping up, baby. Stepping up.
Honesty saying Cruyff once said no coach will make a player better. He can improve them 5%, but the rest is on the player itself. And that's what we're trying to say is that Klopp, yes, can he get even give the 5-10%? Can he go and make the difference? He's shown that he can. We just named a load of players, but is he making them better like a Wenger did?
Yeah, it's like that saying. I know you would have heard it all through your football playing days because I did. It was even on one of our walls when I was filming. But hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work. You know why that's so flawed, bro? Because if you haven't already got the talent, I never really understood it because I know brothers that were working hard every day, 6 a.m., going to the cones out, training in the rain. But JJ, if they're not good, bro, there's only so much you can do. That's why that quote is only true to a certain extent. If you've already got
it's true for a select group of players. Like if you're at Fulham, it's calm for the people at Fulham. It's calm for the people at Fulham.
Exactly.
But if you're just a player, of course, it's not going to work, man. Chris McAvoy is saying the system has changed this season. The stats show Salah and Trent have decreased in passing creation shots by nearly 40%. Crazy. Jay saying, how can you lose your legs, hairline, and dignity after coming to Liverpool? That's about Naby. Jesus. 3 goals and assists out of 25 games. 21/22 was his best season at Liverpool. Yeah, it was. Jay saying, Jerry, don't violate the Scouse Samurai. A vital reason we got to 2 cups last year and massively misused. That's true, but no one's talking about him.
I've not been following him, but how's he been doing this season, if everyone knows? I've not been following him.
They're not rating him.
Swear
We know.
down.
We know saying I rate my brothers for not being able to compete when they're clearly older, but it shows when their form just nosedives. It does. LFC, Aaron Talvari saying LFC has better attackers than Southampton. That's true. Phil Bander saying Alisson Becker is the last person you can criticize. Won't allow any Becker slander. There weren't any Becker
was
slander.
none.
There
There
weren't. John Sebander saying if you were judging managers to Ferguson's standard, except for Pep, then every manager is a failure.
I'm judging him to Pep, Mourinho. I don't know, man. Conte,
The names he
Tuchel.
should
I'm
be
judging
judged
everyone.
to.
The names he should be
The
judged.
names-
Like I'm not just looking at him just from a point of thing, man.
Chris
You
McAway
lot
saying
just-
it was Neto that we needed, the goalkeeper. It was Neto.
Okay.
Sorry, Romz, go on quickly before we wrap up.
I know it's off topic, but Felix starts. I just thought I'd say that.
Felix.
Who they play?
Hopefully he wins you two over. I know you two aren't.
Nah,
you
man.
rate him, but hopefully he wins you over.
He's aight. He's aight.
He's alright.
That's what he's at.
Effortless saying, I'm close with Wilson's family, and when I chatted about Klopp to him, he said that he was very stubborn in his idea and way of doing it. Didn't have much to give. Didn't have much give and take.
Which Wilson?
Yeah,
Harry.
Harry Wilson. Yeah, Harry Wilson.
Okay. Oh,
You're
so
fan
it's
of
not just
Daniel.
us as fans saying that, yeah. Okay.
D Dub saying, I think what needs to be taken into consideration is that City and Chelsea invest way more in their youth. I think that's a very fair point.
Yep.
Big up Ray and saying Klopp is clear of Conte. I can't lie. Conte shouldn't even be in the combo with a Klopp. Yeah,
Big up
fair.
Ryan.
That's fair. RJ said, I don't know if it's an LFC thing, but most people have daddy issues and liken Klopp to that being their father figure. I find this weird. Facts.
Yeah, there's a lot of you weird LFC fans out there. Yo, sort out your daddy issues first, my guys.
Klopp's like my dad. Like, get out of it, man. Get out of it. I think that's true. Mark A saying Taki was holding bench at the World Cup. That's what it is, man. That's what it is.
That's the standard, isn't it?
And he had played the highest level of football.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Albert Boafo saying, I'm fully with you, G. Flop needs to go, man. Flop needs to go.
Wait, listen, it took me time to come around, but they got me. Jerry and G got me.
I'm getting the banners ready. Don't worry, man. I'm getting the banners ready.
The banners are getting ironed and pressed. That's what G's doing right now in the back. You're just pressing. I think the hashtag's actually getting pressed because it's so big. It takes a couple of days to actually get it printed onto the banner.
Come on.
You can't say you would not like a Klopp hug. I say big hug, lads. Oh no! I'm not. I wouldn't like. I'm not a hugging type of person. I'm not gonna lie. I don't. For me, it's more of a fist pump. I don't mind the fist pump, but constant hugs. I'm like, get off me, man. Get off me. Get off me.
Yeah, and especially my manager as well. What, hugging me in front of people on the pitch? Nah, I'm good, man.
No, do is after a while I was calm, but it's like, get off me, bruv. Like, I've had enough. Bro.
Yeah,
like,
stop touching me, man.
I don't mind a little quick, but the one for too long, I don't know, man. You can save that for the players that want it and his misses. How about that? But look,
yeah,
it's been a great show as well. Again, as always, you guys are bringing the heat, bringing the conversations. You guys enable us to produce content like this. We obviously ask that you're please subscribing. We're on 750, I think. So we're 250 subs away. Actually, 250 subs away from 1K people. So please make sure we're sharing. Make sure we're smashing a like. Before we head out, G and Romz, anything you want to say to the people?
Again, to say to you two, big up you two for the work you've been doing the last week or two, proper insightful and analysis and that. And yeah, man, big up everyone. I hope everyone's been fulfilling their New Year's resolutions. Hope none of you lot have failed 12 days into the year already. But yeah, thank you for the continued support. Keep smashing a like, keep subscribing, all that good stuff, man. We've got good stuff coming for you lot. And subscribe to GTV as well, because a lot of his shows are just on point, man.
But that's what it is. If you're like, I'm telling people, make sure you're watching GTV and then coming over and getting into the live thing, because he would have already got your mind bubbling and thinking about what we're going to talk about. So that's actually, to be fair, it's a hack. It's a little hack. If you want to know what our shows are going to be about, so not the previews or not the tactics boards, but if you want, even sometimes the tactics board, if you want to know what the shows are about, go and hit up GTV. Go and hit our GTV.
My guys.
But there we go, man. It's been the Jerry James Show again, and we're out, people. Take it easy.
Peace.